when Wang Lin returned to the land of monster spirits. Just how dramatic were the reactions of ancient demon Bei Luo and Gu Yundun? After helping ancient demon Bei Luo devour the fire monster, the agreement between Wang Lin and Bei Luo was fulfilled. From then on, Wang Lin would no longer lend his strength in devouring the remaining 7 ancient demon spirits. Originally, Wang Lin had not intended to leave the land of monster spirits ahead of time, but within the inheritance of the ancient demon, Brother Scarface unexpectedly learned the truth about All-Seer Tian Yunzi devouring people. In order to escape All-Seer's demonic grasp, Wang Lin relied on the guidance of the scroll of the immortal barbarian clan, Xianxia clan, that he had obtained on Vermilion Bird Planet. Through the transmission array beneath the abyss of the tide's end, he fled directly to the All-Heaven Star domain. What Wang Lin never expected was that this departure would last a full 500 years. 500 years later, war ignited between the All-Heaven Star domain and another star domain. Having already reached the early stage of the Kuinia realm, Wang Lin finally set foot on the path home. Upon returning to the Alliance star domain, the first thing he did was revisit the land of monster spirits to search for the true cave abode of Immortal Emperor, Wang Lin. To ensure absolute certainty, he fused his original body with his avatar. During these 500 years, the land of monster spirits had undergone earth-shaking changes. After Wang Lin helped Bei Luo devour the fire monster, Bei Luo crushed the ancient demons of the other 7 counties. Now only the wind monster remained unconsumed. Bei Luo's strength had recovered to 80% of his peak cultivation, comparable to a 7-star ancient demon at the peak of shattered nirvana. Under his command, Heavenly Monster County advanced like a force of destruction, seizing nearly 80 to 90% of the land of monster spirits. Upon his return, Wang Lin first went to the Soul Refining Tribe. By now, the Soul Refining Tribe had already annexed the entire Fire Monster County, and its population had grown to several million. Wang Lin understood clearly that such expansion could not have happened without the secret support of Bei Luo and the Monster Emperor Gu Yundun of Heavenly Monster County. Sure enough, not long after, Monster Emperor Gu Yundun came personally. It was at Bei Luo's instruction that he sought Wang Lin. When old friends reunited, Gu Yundun's face carried a complex mixture of joy and sorrow. He was joyful because after 500 years, Wang Lin had returned safely still, the reliable brother Wang he remembered. He was sorrowful because even with careful guidance from Patriarch Bei Luo, he had remained stuck at a bottleneck for 5 centuries, unable to step into the second step. His lifespan was nearly exhausted. His remaining time was short. This visit served 2 purposes. First, to deliver Bei Luo's message. Second, to cling to one final hope and ask Wang Lin for a favor. Gu Yundun stated frankly that Bei Luo hoped Wang Lin would bring him into the cave abode of the immortal Emperor Wang Lin. If Wang Lin agreed, the Soul Refining Tribe would receive half the territory of the land of monster spirits. Wang Lin agreed without the slightest hesitation. For him, bringing Bei Luo into the immortal estate was merely a small effort. Yet it would secure immense benefits for the Soul Refining Tribe. There was no reason to refuse such a mutually beneficial arrangement. But the moment Wang Lin agreed, Gu Yundun suddenly stood up and gave Wang Lin a deep, respectful bow. His voice filled with sincerity and entrustment. "Brother Wang, I have one more request." He asked Wang Lin to take the sword spirit of his emperor's sword out of the land of monster spirits, either to help her, re-enter the cycle of reincarnation, or to seek a sliver of new destiny for her. Gu Yundun knew clearly that his lifespan was nearly over. Once he fell, the pure-hearted sword spirit would likely be unable to survive in the cultivation world alone. Within this land of monster spirits, the only outsider cultivator he truly trusted was Wang Lin. Seeing Gu Yundun's solemn entrustment, Wang Lin could not help but sigh inwardly. From the very first glance upon reunion, he had sensed a faint aura of death on his old friend, and already guessed that his days were numbered. Having once shared a bond, how could he refuse this final request? Gu Yundun solemnly handed the Emperor's sword to Wang Lin. There were no excessive words, no farewell. He simply turned and left with decisive steps. His back was resolute, yet carried an unspeakable reluctance. That parting would be their last. After settling Gu Yundun's request, Wang Lin prepared to enter the immortal estate of Wang Lin. The moment the great gates of the estate thunderously opened, Bei Luo's figure flashed into view. He glanced at All-Seer Tian Yunzi and the others nearby, who were eyeing the scene like predators, then walked straight to Wang Lin's side, speaking in a tone as warm as an old friend. "Brother Wang, I came late." Yet beneath that warmth, Bei Luo's heart was already in turmoil. He could clearly sense that, although Wong Lin was only at the early stage of the Kuinie realm, the aura of battle strength radiating from him was something even pure Nirvana realm cultivators could hardly match. Even more shocking was the incomparably pure ancient god bloodline within Wong Lin's body. Such purity only a true royal ancient god could possess. 500 years ago, Wong Lin had stood beneath Bei Luo's shadow, a mere human cultivator, struggling to survive in the land of monster. Spirits relying on the protection of an ancient demon whose very presence could suppress the heavens. Back then he was sharp, daring, and ruthless, but still fragile in the face of true ancient power. Now, 5 centuries later, he returned no longer as the youth who needed shelter. He stood calm and restrained his cultivation only at the early stage of the Kuinie realm. Yet the aura coiling around him was vast and unfathomable. It was not merely spiritual energy, it was a presence that bent the air itself, a silent pressure that made even seasoned experts instinctively wary. Within his body flowed an ancient god bloodline so pure it bordered on absolute. Bei Luo had once guessed that Wang Lin's relationship with the ancient gods ran deep. He had sensed it in fragments in Wang Lin's fearless gaze and his relentless will, in the faint ancient aura hidden beneath his mortal shell. But guessing was one thing. Seeing it with his own eyes was another. The purity of that bloodline, the weight of that aura, it was something only true royal ancient gods possessed. For a fleeting moment, Bei Luo felt a shock he had not experienced in countless years. The human he once sheltered had grown into something that even an ancient demon could not fully measure. Yet fate is crueler than any battlefield. This expedition into the cave abode of the immortal Emperor Qing Lin was not destined to be a triumphant return for Bei Luo. He had failed to devour the wind monster. That final missing piece prevented his strength from returning to its absolute peak. Though he had recovered 80% of his former cultivation, though he stood comparable to a 7-star ancient demon at the height of shattered nirvana, it was not enough. Not when facing ancient demon Tajia. Tajia was ruthless, ancient, and merciless. The clash between the two ancient demons tore through the immortal estate like a storm of destruction. Demonic ki churned space, cracked, and the very laws of the realm trembled. But incomplete strength is a fatal flaw. Bei Luo was gradually suppressed, gradually devoured. When half of his body was swallowed by Tajia's abyss-like power, something inside him snapped. There was no plea, no hesitation, no fear, only madness and pride. If he could not return to his peak, if he could not win, then he would make sure his enemy paid the price. Ancient demon, Bei Luo chose self-detonation. In that final instant, his demonic aura surged wildly, igniting like a collapsing star. The explosion that followed was not merely an act of destruction, it was defiance. It was dignity. It was the last roar of an ancient demon unwilling to be consumed whole. He would rather die than allow ancient demon Tajia to emerge unscathed. The shockwave rippled through the immortal estate, shaking heaven and earth. And when the dust slowly settled, one ancient presence had vanished forever. Wong Lin stood silently amidst the aftermath. He did not rush forward. He did not speak. His expression remained calm, but in the depths of his eyes flickered something ancient and heavy. 500 years. 500 years of separation. A reunion that lasted but a fleeting moment. And now eternal parting. He had returned to old ground expecting unfinished matters, hidden fortunes, perhaps even long-delayed answers. Instead, he witnessed the fall of a former ally, a protector, a once mighty ancient demon who had in his own way acknowledged him. The cultivation world had always been like this. Gatherings and partings, alliances and betrayals, rise and fall. No matter how powerful one became, no one escaped the flow of time. As Wang Lin watched the fading remnants of demonic qi disperse into nothingness, he felt no dramatic surge of emotion, only a quiet, lingering heaviness. This return to familiar lands had become yet another chapter of impermanence, another name etched into memory, another figure lost to the endless river of the Tao. In the end, all that remained was a single silent sigh. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating.